Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir me sada Yenakshara samamnayam Adhigamya maheshwarat Kritsnam vyakaranam proktam Tasmai paninaye namaha Vakyakaram vararuchim Bhashyakaram patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Bhagarthaviva Samprikto Bhagarthaf Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Namaste everyone. Welcome to class. Hope everyone's doing well. In the chat, I shared something new and special. I hope you can see it in the chat there. Let me reattach it so everyone can see it. So that is answers to exercises 1 to 21. So I didn't hide this from you. This was recently released. This was recently released a few weeks ago. I just found out actually recently. So this is all of the answers to the exercises. So it doesn't mean you shouldn't do your homework. You should still do the homework, but you can check the answers. And it's all very clearly written out there. So make sure you click on that link there. You could download it. I'll make sure to attach it to the email as well. But this is, there's a lot of, the sentences from here on will get more complicated. So it's a good resource to make sure that we're translating correctly or we're understanding correctly. So it's a good way to check our understanding. Okay. One more document I'll share as well. Let me see if I can find it. This is also Mundaka Upanishad. Every sentence is grammatically laid out in the second document that I sent. So this also I found out recently. So there was a question about, in Vedanta class, there's a question about Anvaya. People were interested in Anvaya. People were interested in which cases each of the words are. This document has each sentence. The Anvaya is given, the grammatical case is given to every single word in Mundaka Upanishad, and a translation is given. This is by Swamini Nigamananda. She's in Arshavidya Gurukulam, but she's in Gujarat. She created this document along with Medaji. There's some places where my teacher kind of disagreed with how she did it, but I would say it's a good source. So you may see I may differ in some places than her, but it's still a good source. So I wanted to share that. Most of the people in the next class aren't interested in the grammatical analysis, so I'm sharing that now. I'll share it also then, but just so you know, you have those two documents there. Yeah. Okay. So if we're looking at the screen, I said, we want to fill in the blanks with yad. So instead of doing that, we'll chant the yad shabda chart. Okay. So we can chant it together. Yaha, yo, ye, yam, yo, yan, yena, yabhyam, yaihi, yasmai, yabhyam, yebhyah, yasmat, yabhyam, yebhyah, yasya, yayoho, yesham, yasmin, yayoho, yeshu. Okay. So it's very similar to sarva. It's also similar to the tad shabda, more similar to sarva because the 1-1 is just fairly straightforward there. Okay. So let's also chant our Maheshwara Sutra before we continue on. Om A I Un. Okay, why don't you repeat after me? Om A I Un. Rilik E Ong. I Ouch. Haya Varata. Lan. Nyama Gananam. Nyama Gananam. Jabhanya Gadadash Jabagadadash Kapachatata Chatatav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani. Okay. So we'll start, with that, we'll start with our Sandhi book. We're going to start with Visarga Sandhi. We're going to continue where we left off. So if you have your Sandhi book, you can open that up. That's, we're going to be on Namo Namah Sandhi. That's my page 25. I think I'm slightly off from you all. So I need to find out why my copy is different. But it's around 25, Namo Namah Sandhi. But before we get there, actually, the beginning of Visarga Sandhi, I'll show you, has a big chart, which I'll share. 1 second. So there's this chart, it's my page 18, is the overview of Visarga Sandhi. So it's the first page of Visarga Sandhi. So we'll start here. This chart is pretty integral for our success in understanding Visarga Sandhi. Okay, essentially, this chart over time will come into our mind one by one. Okay, now I only took one section of the chart because this is only the section we've done so far. If you look at this chart, you'll see here we see Purva and you see Paraha. Okay, so everything going down in the column is the Purva to the Visarga, is previous, is before the Visarga, and everything after is called Paraha, after. So if that helps, you can write before and you can write after the Visarga, right? Everything before and everything the Visarga. So if I have, then you can take your 2 fingers, and if I have, right? If I have akara preceding and akara following, then they'll meet here in Shivoham Sandhi, right? Or akara and any vowel other than a the visarga will drop. Okay, we haven't seen this one, so we're going to see this in today's class, but we also saw this akara and or vowels other than and soft consonants, the visarga drops. This is guna guneshu sandhi. Okay, guna guneshu sandhi. Okay, so this chart is really helpful. Plus is o. Plus plus anything other than akara is visarga drops. Akara plus anything, essentially anything except for hard consonants, the visarga drops there. Okay. So far, we'll look at this much right now. Okay, we're going to look at this. We're going to have akara leading to hush. Okay, this is what we call Namo Namah Sandhi. You can flip your page and find that in the next following pages. And I'll take questions after this. Here in Namo Namah Sandhi, right after, so this is number 3. So the third type of Sandhi. What we have is we have the visarga, and preceding the purva letter is akara. Okay, so we're back to short akara. So visarga is preceded, the purva letter is akara, and para letter is hush. 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 Okay, hush. What is hush? We have to remember to go back to you can also have your hand on the Maheshwara Sutra at the beginning. Or you can look at the screen because I have it conveniently located in front of you, right? Hush. We have to find hakara, which is up here, hakara, and shakara, all the way down here. So hush stands for all soft consonants. Okay, all soft consonants. Now, I used to have a lot of trouble remembering what is soft consonants. Now, this is one trick that works for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, okay? But here's one trick is, if you remember the second class, kappa cha ta ta, okay? Kappa cha ta ta, and then also the soft versions, kappa cha ta ta, right? If you just remember that, it's everything besides those letters. It's everything besides alpa prana and maha prana, kappa cha ta ta. Everything other than that is a soft consonant. You know, another way of looking at it is if you look at this alphabet chart, you know, you remember when you were a little kid and you said ka, ka, ga, ga, or this was like maybe last week for you, or this was like last year for you. This was very recent for me that I learned these letters too, right? So, ka, ka, ga, this always the first two that you say are hard consonants. This whole right here is a hard consonant. Everything else is soft. Okay, so now going back, when a visarga is preceded by short akara and followed by a soft consonant, combination of a and the visarga. So both of these things become o. Okay, remember when we did Shivoham Sandhi? Shivoham Sandhi, all three got replaced by o. Okay, here only these first two are getting replaced by o. So we'll see some examples there in the book. Krishnaha hasati. I have visarga preceded by akara and followed by ha, which is a soft consonant. Krishnaha yatate. Krishnaha yatate. So actually, in the last class, someone asked about Gita Dhyanam. In Gita Dhyanam, that what they were asking, it was a visarga preceded by akara and followed by yakara. And that's why I got Krishna. Okay, I was so stuck on only saying O in Shivoham Sandhi that I couldn't remember this. So it's not only in Shivoham Sandhi that we see that O, we also see it in this Namo Namah Sandhi. Okay, we'll see Nakara, right? Yeah, we'll see that example in a moment, okay? So let's keep going with these. Number 3, Krishnaha vadati. So semi-vowels are also soft consonants, right? So it becomes Krishna vadati, Krishnaha ramate, becomes Krishna ramate, etc. You can just look at these examples in your book. Okay? And on the screen. Now, if you look at this example, Krishnaha namyate, number 10. Krishnaha namyate. Visarga preceded by akara. Okay? It helps if you look at the transliteration because sometimes, you know, our minds are, we forget that there's an akara before that visarga. Right? And so that visarga is preceded by akara and followed by na. Right? Na is also, then all the nasals are soft consonants. Right? All nasals are soft consonants. And semivowels are soft consonants. So when I say Krishnaha namyate, it becomes Krishno namyate. Similarly, if I have Namaha, Namaha. This is a very common greeting in Sanskrit, right? We say Namo Namaha. So when you meet each other, you can say Namo Namaha. This is in Samskrita Bharati, when they speaking Sanskrit, this is the first thing you'll learn. Namo Namaha, Mama Nama Shivam, Bhavata Nama Kim. That's the first lesson in Sanskrit Bharati. You say your name and you ask someone else's name. But so the Namo Namaha is a greeting, your salutations to the person. My namaskara over and over again to you. Okay, so that's where the name comes from. So by hearing Namo Namah Sandhi, we can remember this, the rule. Okay. Does someone want to, you know, maybe in the chat, or you can raise your hand on the participants, and does someone want to do the answers for number 1, 3, 5? Okay, I see one hand. Okay, Harprasadji, go ahead.
The first one is Yogeshwaraha Harihi.
Great. Number 3?
Number 3 is Tataha Yuddhaya.
Great. Number 5?
Number 5 is Naha Rajyam.
Naha Rajyam. Great. So this is great. I love that people are putting it in the group chat as well. So that's great. Thank you, Harprasadji. I'm gonna put you on mute. Applying Visarga Sandhi. Can we get a new volunteer? 1, 3, 5. You can also just say hi in the chat if you don't know how to raise your hand. Okay. Chitraji. Okay, Chitraji, I've unmuted you.
The first one, Yukto
Yep.
Rishikeshaha.
Ukto Rishikesha, great.
Third one, Tato Yati.
Tato Yati. Number 5.
Ko Ramate. Rameta.
Ko Rameta. Yeah, great. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Ko Rameta. Okay, so this is our Namo Namah Sandhi. So we say Namo Namah to this, and we leave it, and we'll go back to our book 1. We're going to go back to Yad Shabda. Okay, so you can open up your book 1, back to Yad Shabda. That's on page 96. You know, there we saw that Yad, we already did the declensions. Yad is a relative pronoun. This is what we've been talking about, and it correlates with the word tad. So where you see Yad, you often see tad, but not always the other way. So for example, in the Mundaka Upanishad verse we were doing last time, there were so many tads and only one yad, okay? Doesn't mean that that yad correlates with all of them. It only correlates with one of those words. Okay, so you have to always see which one will it go with and pay attention to that. It doesn't always, so tad doesn't always have a yad, but yad will usually have a tad. Okay, so just so we know that both ways. Or sorry, not both ways, it's one way, yeah. Okay. Now, let's do some more examples. So we saw this example last time in the back of the book. Exercise 17 is on page 177 in the back. So you can keep maybe a piece of paper all the way in the beginning and have your hand in the back. Exercise 17. We saw this example, Yaha bodhati saha vadati. The one who knows, he vadati, speaks. Okay, so the he is qualified by one who knows, right? So it's giving more information about the one who speaks. It's telling you that that person also knows. Okay, now if we look at the homework, now exercise 17 number 5 onwards are really much more intense. Okay, we're going to do one together, and I've already done it. I'm going to put it at maybe 1.5 or 2 speed so we can go through it more quickly. And you can just you don't need to write down anything, just maybe focus on the screen and let me know if you have any questions after this, okay? I'm going to narrate as we go along with this. This is number 5. Yasmin sarve janaha nivasanti saha gramaha bhavati. Okay, not that long ago, we were reading 3-word sentences. Now look how big our sentences have become, okay? We're becoming advanced Sanskrit students. Whether you feel like it or not, this is a little bit more advanced. Okay. So notice how now we have a combination of we're not just Rama Shabda, but now we have Sarva Shabda, we have Yad Shabda, we have different verbs, okay? So we're gonna start. Okay, so nivasanti, it's ni dhatu vastat. So nivas, we want to first of all start there because we want to pick up our verb for the yad clause. So we're starting with the yad clause. Yad clause is yasmin sarve janaha nivasanti. Those 4 words. Okay, so that's why I'm starting with nivasanti. Nivasanti is vas dhatu, which is 1p, but it has an upasarga, a prefix ni. Okay, so the dhatu is not nivas, the dhatu is vas, but the upasarga, the prefix to the dhatu is ni, so it becomes nivas, nivas. Nivas means to dwell. It's lat lakaraha. We're in kartari prayoga. And this is third three. You see that anti. Okay? So it means he, she, it dwells. Okay, now we want to stop there, and we always want to find our first case in the yad clause itself. Okay? We have two words are in the first case. Can you think in your mind what are the two words in the first case just in the yad clause? Sarve janaha. Okay? Sarve janaha. Sarve looks like seventh case if you think of Rama Shabda, but it's Sarva Shabda. Sarva 1-3 is Sarve. Janaha is like Rama because 1-3. Okay, so let's pick up with Rama. Let's pick up with Jana. So Janaha is our Pratipadika. The Pratipadika is Jana, Akaranta Pullinga, just like Rama Shabda. We know this is 1-3. And because we're in Kartari Prayoga, this is going to be Kartari Prathama to Nivasanti. Okay, so far, the translation, Janaha means people, right? People. So people dwell. Okay, so now we want to go to the next word, Sarve, right? Sarve is qualifying it. It's Sarva Shabda, Akaranta, Pullinga. This is Sarvanama, so you can write it like this. Make sure you want to note that. It's Sarvanama. Sarve is 1-3, right? Sarvaha, Sarvo, Sarve. Because it's qualifying, it's qualifying that Janaha. It's also Kartari Prathama to Nivasanti. We can say that they're in Samanadhikaran. So we say all people dwell. Okay? So we'll pause there. We want to look. This is what we have so far. All people dwell. Sarve Janaha Nivasanti. Now we have to do Yasmin. Okay? And if you have any questions, just remember them and note them down. We'll do questions afterwards, okay? So let's go for Yasmin. That's Yad Shabda, right? Dakaranta, this is Punlinga. We're still in Punlinga here, but this is a Sarvanama, so we want to make sure to note that as well, right? This is Yasmin. Now, it's not like Rama Shabda. It's what case? Give me your fingers. Yeah, seventh case, Yasmin. Not seventh case, Yasmin. You can think about it, the word in is in the word, right? In, like inside, adhikarana. Okay, that's not, vibhakti is different than pratyaya, so we have to not get that mixed up, but it's one way of remembering. Vibhakti artaha. Now this is, I would say, adhikarane, saptami, to nivasanti. Okay, so Yasmin, Yad means like what or which, right? But if it's in adhikarane saptami, then I want to say in which. In which. Or I can use the word where. Where. right? Because it's a location. So I can say in which or where. I, for simplicity, chose in which, but the answers in that document I gave you say where, right? So both are options. So in which all people dwell is what we have so far, right? Yasmin sarve janaha nivasanti, in which all people dwell. All people stay. Dwell means to stay, right? Any questions so far? You can put a question mark in the chat. You can raise your hand. Not physically, using the Zoom function. I can't see everyone at the same time. Okay. In which all people say, now let's remember this. Saha gramaha bhavati. That much we have to, is our tad clause. So we're going to go for that. Okay, so we want to pick up the verb, saha gramaha bhavati. You'll see why we're using yasmin. Now note, I didn't put a line. There was a technical glitch there of gramaha. Okay, so it's just a saha gramaha bhavati. The word bhavati, bhudatu, we know that, hopefully by now. 1p, 2b, right? This is D, so it's lat lakaraha, kartari prayoga, third one. Now we want to find our first case. Now there's two first cases here. I just picked up saha. You could pick up gramaha. Either one. Usually we go right to left, right? But I picked up saha. It's fine either way. I should have maybe done gramaha first, but it doesn't actually matter in the translation here. Okay, this is tad shabda, dakaranta, pullinga, sarvanama. Supratyaya, this is which case? Yeah, 1, 1. Yeah. Kartari, prathama, 2 bhavati. Okay? We always have to remember, saha doesn't look like tad. Saha doesn't look like tad, but that's where it's coming from. That's its parent, okay? Don't forget your ancestors. Okay, we will go to the next word, gramaha. Oh, so yeah, so translation so far, right? He or that is, right? Saha, we could say that also, depending on what we're talking about. Bhavati means is, to be, right? Is. Now, so we pick up our next gramaha. So we're going to put gramaha. Pratipadika, grama. This is akaranta. This is punlinga. Supratyaya, this is 1, 1. And this is going to be also kartari prathama 2 bhavati. Now, right, again, this is samanadikaranam with saha. They're both referring to the same object, and so they have the same case and same number. That is a village. Grama means village, right? So this is like a noun predicate type. Uddeshya videya bhava. So that saha means that, bhavati is a grama, a village. Okay, so now let's look at the translation. In which all people dwell, that is a village. In which yasmin right? We said yasmin sarve janaha nivasanti, in which all people dwell, saha, that, bhavati, is a grama, a village. This is the definition of a village here we're giving. So what is qualified by the yad clause is giving more information about the saha there, which refers to grama. So that village is being told. What is a village is being told in the whole previous part of that sentence. In which or where all people, sarve janaha, dwell or stay. That is a village. Okay. Let's stop here. You can ask me questions in between. So the challenge will be the next. So I want you to do 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'll take Harpasaji. I see you have a question. I'll take 5, 6, 7, 8 for homework. But you're going to need that document which I put at the chat in the beginning, because these are very difficult sentences, and that's okay. Use the document for this one homework. I won't say always use it, because we don't want to rely on it. But for this, try to do each word by itself, but have that next to you if you need help. Okay? Because the sentences get more complicated. I will, like, for example, this next one. Yeah, this is number 7. I just chose number 7. We need to point out one thing of number 7. Astu is us, 2p, and it's not lat lakara, it's actually lot lakara. Okay, we never learned lot lakara. That's why I'm saying for some of these things, you might need a little bit of help, and that's okay if you need that there, okay? We'll stop here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. We'll take a 4-minute break and come back, yeah? Do you want to? Harprasadji, yeah, go ahead.
Do you have a similar book for volume 2, Sandhi?
I will check up on that. Let me see. So this is from, yeah, let me see. Yeah, okay, I'm going to attach it right now also. This is the Sandhi.
You have it?
Yeah, oh, I'm going to send it to everyone right now.
Yeah. Now, can you send that in the email form, please?
Yeah, I'll send them both in the email form,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
If I'll remember to do it. Okay, it's also there in the chat. That's all the answers to the Sandhi. No, don't cheat. Okay, Om. If you have any questions, just let me know in the chat. For those who are joining right now, I've just put some things in the chat that might be helpful.